There we go. Hello, hello, hello. There we go.
Check, 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 check.
You love it. You love a good mic check, right?
I love a good mic check, man. I always will.
If for nothing else, just because it's fun to say mic check over and over again.
Because you secretly want to start freestyle rapping, but you know you don't have the ability. So you're like, check, check, and then you get off.
You just stop right there because you know it's not going to be good for either one of us. All right. Start getting people loaded up. I need to grab the link. Apparently, my dog is in the living room driving my wife insane. So we're off to just a fantastic start.
It's okay. I got my kids are eating dinner like 9 feet from where I'm at right now, so we'll see how that goes.
I'm all here for it. What are they eating?
We went and got like a Costco rotisserie chicken, and we got
Oh
some
yeah,
veggies and some fruit, just something easy.
that's the way to go.
Yeah, it was like soccer game, and then
Mm,
need to see the rest of this summer league game slash podcast at 5:30. So let's make it easy there.
listen, man. I won't name the company, but I've got one of those meal prep companies.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
We
You
buy
like those?
we buy a couple dinners a week,
Yeah.
and this is like, especially now with like waiting on the all the surgeries, like not cooking is a choice.
Yes, it's amazing.
So,
That's why if I was, like, what was that player that got drafted? And they were like, "What's the first thing you're gonna do?" And he's like, "I'm gonna get two chefs."
oh yeah, oh dude,
Um,
oh you know what? Great transition. Chef Kenny, who's Dame Chef,
yeah.
he had a barbecue deal pop up out of his place the other day, and I,
Ooh,
I swooped by and got some ribs, brisket, beans, and mac and cheese, and I walked in the house and it was just like, just wafted barbecue just all over, and
man.
it was so damn good,
I don't know if there's a.
so good.
I think the best two naps you can take are
The post the
Thanksgiving
post
and
rib snap, yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, no, it can be hard pressed to get a adjustment back from me on that. 100%.
Oh,
I'm just like, no, I'm good. All right, Josh, whose name? Thanks for coming in, guys. It looks like it's going to be a little bit late. I figured we've never really done a Sunday stream, so I figured give it a few minutes and get some. Well, we'll take some questions, do some quick reaction
yeah.
on the joys of summer league, which were um, sniffed out, but for me mostly, just because I wanted to see Nas play. I got notice from his camp a couple days ahead of time and tried to sort out like if there's like anything, make sure that that Nas is healthy and everything's okay. And like, remember when we found out about Mo Harkless having surgery over the summer when the season started? Remember that 2 years ago
Yeah.
or 3 years ago? That was fun. I was like, we aren't missing like one of those things, are we? Like yeah, Nas had hip abductor surgery and he's not 100%. He's been going through practice, and you're just like, why are we just now finding out about
I know.
I don't think anything like that is going on.
Is it strictly just they really like what they see? They don't need the summer league, basically? Like,
I look at it like this: Nas had a really shitty year, not basketball, just everything else. Like getting COVID, losing 30 pounds, like trying to recover from that, like the ramifications of any lingering effects. And that's before you even get to the fact that in the bubble he blacked out and smashed the ground so hard he had multiple teammates in tears because they weren't sure he was okay, and the Blazers held him out of games from that point on because
yeah.
those same issues are typical indicators of heart issues. So every time Nas has shown like a little bit of growth, he's been hit with some sort of like freakish setback. It's not like he's been injury prone. He's just had really crappy luck.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at it and I go, I think this is Nas and his team and maybe even the Blazers. Like, let's not risk it. Like, let's get him into camp because
Yeah.
we're probably counting on him a little bit more than people are actually willing to let on.
Oh, if something happens, let it happen during the regular season. Don't wait for summer. But yeah, dude, we talked about this a little bit last time. The quick piece and what they're going to do with the TMLE, like the TPMLE, it's a little frustrating, but I'm not shocked because it's like we have two players that we're not talking about. I think Neil is going to rely on Ant and Nas. I think you can rely on them to be better.
I don't think that's any stretch of the imagination. Somebody just asked if I had any of the burnt ends. I did have like some in the rib pack, so I got lucky on the brisket side. So,
Dude, candied like burnt ends are it's un. So I'm gonna do a quick shout out.
yeah, go.
My co-host Dirt,
Mhm.
it'd be his uncle-in-law, Uncle Dennis. He had a big barbecue a year and a half, 2 years. It was 2 years ago,
Mhm.
prior to COVID.
Was this like
And
your first exposure to burnt ends?
this was one of them. It was my
Okay.
second time having burn-ins. The first time it was like, oh, these are really good. So the second time, I'm like, oh, those are good. Uncle Dennis can barbecue. And Uncle Dennis, I mean, it tasted like I was eating candy. And I was like, oh, I ate 15, 18. Like I didn't stop, man. I was putting them on the plate.
Just kept going.
I stopped.
Stupid meat story. Speaking of, you made me think of candied meats. Over in England, they have these things that look like actual candy and they taste like candy, but it's candied bacon. And I had this obnoxious vegetarian with me who is for like, we've been there for 3 days and how much better that lifestyle is. And this makes me a pretty rotten human being. So I'm just prefacing that fully here. And he is just just housing these things down. And I'm just sitting there like,
And does he know it's bacon?
No, he thinks it's this like vegetarian, alternative. And this sweet woman. We're in the south of England, and it's kind of a poor area. You get a thicker accent, and she's like, "Oh, you like the candies?" And he's like, "What?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "The candies." And he's like, "What kind of candy is it?" She's like, "Oh, pig." He's like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, bacon." And just color gone. Arrogance gone, and we're just sitting there dying laughing.
Arrogance
like,
gone.
Dumbass. Telling us how great that bacon is. Idiot vegetarian. I'm not insulting your lifestyle. Just don't make me hear about it.
Dude, yeah, that's kind of how I feel. It's like I've even talked to some vegans and vegetarians, and they've made good points. And I'm kind of conscious of how much like certain things I'll buy, but like, don't rub it in. You don't need to rub it in. Like,
rub it in, guy is just as bad as I put bacon on everything, guy.
Oh, I know, it's the worst. Unbelievable.
Cody, Kirk, Eric, thanks for coming in, guys. Harrison, anybody else that I missed? Ridiculous that Nas isn't playing, in my opinion. If nothing else, he could build some confidence. I'll tell you this right now. Nas does not lack confidence. Nas lacks playing time.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. Ant and Nas, both those guys, right now, not lacking confidence.
So the thing with Chauncey is that they kept saying Chauncey likes to play young players, right?
Or the likelihood increases because you really can't play guys less than Terry did.
Well, yeah, that too. But I think about the way the roster's built out. Now, I like to see Nas. I would. Is he going to really get consistent burn?
Yeah, like depth chart right now, Dame, CJ, Norm, Rocco, Nurk. That's your 5.
Who's your 5?
Zeller is 6.
Yep.
Ant is 7.
Yep.
Now you start getting into the questions. Is it Snell or is it Nas?
I know what Snell brings. I kind of feel like you have to make that Nas, do you not? I mean, this is the difficult thing. We are now balancing being really good and trying to win versus you can't forget about player development.
Yeah.
And even if Nas is the 9th guy, right? Like, let's say they go Snell for 8, Nas falls. I mean, you're very rarely gonna seriously give the 9th and 10th guy any real minutes. Yep. So
and this is where it gets crazy, and this is where we talk about that lineup versatility that they're just not going to have. And let's get a little bit weird right now because they don't have a backup 4. Like, unless you want to, because they showed that they wanted to move. Well, I shouldn't say they because it is a new coaching staff, but I see Nas gearing more towards 2-3 than he was 3-4. I think there was a kind of a shift there. At least that's what they appeared to be doing under Terry Stotts.
Mhm.
And I actually thought that they found some things there with Nas in that regard, playing less as a small ball 4 and more as a supersized 2.
Yeah.
Like getting significantly bigger, stronger, more athletic at that position. Like it was one of those things where like that definitely looked like that was on the table. So
he physically fits what we've been clamoring and screaming for 3-4 years now, though.
Yeah, more skewed towards Wes Matthews than CJ McCollum.
Yeah.
So I think that was maybe something they were trying to take a look at least in that regard. But again, there's no backup 4. And if you saw the way the Portland Trailblazers first half offense ran today, it was Mike Beasley, and Mike Beasley.
Yeah.
If they are looking to replace the Carmelo Anthony Memorial defense minutes, Mike Beasley's a pretty damn good candidate in that regard, don't you think?
Oh, I mean, I think Beasley's absolutely going to be that. I mean, we talk about good candidates. Can you find a better one?
No. So here's the funny thing. I ran a poll on this last night. Who's the early Summer League favorite to get guaranteed contract and be rostered by the Blazers this year? Beasley, Fareed, Moutier. Beasley got 26%.
Yeah, so I thought about that question. I thought it was a good question. I was going to vote Beasley. I ended up voting for Reed. I don't know why I voted for Reed. I just kind of felt like, one, you brought him out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And two, because at least Beasley's been in the scene. He's been talked about in the MVP thing.
Well, and there's two different parts of this, right? Beasley, we got the announcement like 2 months early. Hey, Mike Beasley's going to be he's going to be featured. For Reed, the public didn't know until the Summer League rosters dropped. Like we knew a couple weeks ahead, but there's no press release or anything along that line.
Right.
So I wondered if maybe like part of the Beasley agreement was to feature him and to give him that opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, it's not like I'm pulling it out of my ass because that's exactly what they did with Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
They guaranteed him minutes. They guaranteed him a role. They guaranteed him shots.
Yeah. And honestly, we could see that.
To a guy that's been out of the league.
I know. Twice. I think they did that year 1 and year 2, but the year 2 thing, we had picked up on that and we're like, all right, why Melo's getting all these shots, all this minutes.
Yeah.
What's going on? There's no other explanation that makes sense, right? The Fareed thing, I voted Fareed. It might not be Kenneth Fareed because good God, I thought he was. I don't care what his number.
The box score says 8 and 8 and 2 blocks, but he was a ghost tonight.
I feel like I didn't see him play.
He took that charge, and I was like, or tried to take a charge. It was Greg Brown who actually ended up taking one. But Fareed tried to take one, and I was like, there was a couple times where, listen, this is not a slight to Kai Jones, because Kai Jones is a freak athletically.
Yeah.
But Fareed just like couldn't keep him out. And I know Kai's a bunny, but like Fareed's a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
Like you expect him to maybe be like, let me go ahead and own this. Like his name's the Manimal. Like, did you feel his presence at all tonight?
Not like that. No, not how I had. Because you think back to his Denver days, I think naturally. And
the hustle, the energy.
He had the motor.
Yeah.
He had the motor. You could feel him play. And today his numbers say, okay, like 8 and 8 is great, a plus 19, but I don't know. I just didn't feel it for 23 minutes of play. I did not feel that old Kenneth Fareed type feel. So maybe they're still going to bring him back, but I think we have to wait and see on this, Danny, because now we are officially 1-0. They are well on their league to a summer league title.
And did you get a piece of those odds? Because I absolutely did. 100%.
Neil is going to proudly raise the summer league title banner in game 1 of the regular season and talk about how we're going to.
He's going to make it worse. He's going to have Dame raise it.
They're going to make him raise it, and they're like, wait, Dame, don't do it by yourself. Kenneth, come over here. Jointly raise our banner.
Be like, 2 kids that don't like each other, just like, fine, Dad says we have to do this. Just pure hell. I've seen a lot of people. So far, the comment section has been, in the least surprising fashion, pro Nasir Little. I think Nas has like the highest Q rating of like all the young Blazers over the last couple years. Like Nas has never like dipped below. Like, people got mad at Anthony. People got mad at Lehman. People got mad. Hell, people actually got mad at Gary in year 2. Like,
Well, yeah. I don't know about how mad. Like, I think it was more.
it was just mad. Strong air quotes.
Yeah.
Had negative feelings towards him. Nas his value just started like, and then it was good. Like,
yeah.
I think part of that has to do with because he's a lottery pick that fell, as opposed to just a guy who was drafted at that spot.
Well, because I would say most, and I'll put myself in this category, Anthony Simons being announced as a draft pick, you're kind of like, Anthony Simons versus like Nasir Little was like top
household
10
North Carolina name.
North Carolina, and then you see him dropping in real time, and you're like, man, what happened with that dude? And then he falls all the way, and you're kind of like, I think we don't have to take that guy, right? So I think it's getting like catching COVID. If there's any city that's going to respect that more than any other in the league, it's going to be Portland, Oregon, going, hey, okay. And the COVID thing clearly took a lot out of him. So I think it's more just he clearly hasn't gotten the minutes, right? Terry never gave him those minutes. He doesn't give young players those minutes. Then he last year doesn't catch a break when he gets he gets COVID.
Yeah.
So I think it's more from a perspective of that's a top 10 type talent that slipped for whatever reason. And there's maybe that potential to be that kind of talent going forward for them. And if he hits, that's 6'8", 200-pound plus muscle athleticism that this team has been longing for 4 or 5 years now. So I think it's more of just the fan base kind of holding out. This is the year, right? You talk about Ant and Trent. This is going to be the year that you would imagine Nasir Little is going to get those minutes.
Get the opportunity.
And he's going to get the opportunity. And if he does not contribute, you're going to start to hear about it like 10, 15 games into whenever he starts that. And
that's the thing.
When the negativity creep in.
That 10, 15 games might be the first 10, 15 games of the season.
It might have to be, yeah.
Chauncey might look at that roster and be like, we need somebody who's going to kick somebody in the ass and play with some energy.
I think I've tweeted dumb things. I tweet dumb things all the time. Mainly I use Twitter to be stupid. But like I jokingly tweeted like he could be our Draymond. He could be a do-it-everything athleticism, kind of be a bulldog guy. Mm-hmm. I've seen a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get enough playing time to really warrant actually being a Draymond. So it's like I want to see if Chauncey can unlock any of that.
Yeah, it's the thing is like, do you want to? Can a guy be and being an energy guy is not a bad thing. Like
no.
there have been star energy guys like Dennis Rodman, Draymond Green are star energy guys.
Yeah.
Ben Wallace. There's Wes Matthews cut his teeth being an energy guy.
I used to think Sheed was an energy guy when he had it going, man. Like you need somebody to kick you in your ass.
This Blazers team has been missing that for years. It's a bunch of nice dudes. Nobody really talks. Like CJ's the biggest trash talker on the team, and like he does it like quietly, like over like through his jersey at guys, you know.
Oh yeah.
Don't get me wrong. He has said some stuff that I have heard off the record that is fantastic, but in that same regard, like there's nobody just like the Nurk is the closest we get to that, to having like a spirit animal for the team. Like when he's got his swagger and he's bouncing side to side, he's kind of like doing that little hop step. You can tell there's a little something extra.
Yeah.
Nas, when you see him turn a corner and throw it down two-handed and kind of flex and scream a little bit, and you're like, yeah, give me some of that. And like I said, like Popovich, you know, famously said, give me some nasty. Show me that nasty. I think he can be that, but also be a high skill guy.
I think after reading Quick's piece, it's pretty abundantly clear that like they're done.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, let's hit on that here because we talked about that a few days ahead of time.
I don't know what Millsap's doing. If I was Paul Millsap, I would sit out. I wouldn't even want to sign with a team. I'd wait and get my deck ready. And Portland would not be in my even consideration of teams.
Clippers need another big. Lakers definitely need another big.
I'd rather go there. And then even if I sit for most of the year, good. Conserve my legs for the postseason and let me go try to get a ring. Like, I don't even think Millsap is a realistic possibility for $5.9 million. So it's like, where are you looking around? You're not. You're not going to use it.
He's made damn good money his whole career too.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. We forget about these players. We act like everything is like these dudes who make $100+ million in their career. Like
Dennis Cantor's made $100 million in his career.
Blake Griffin is at that point, right?
Blake
Griffin just signed for the minimum.
Well past that though. Like he made dumb money early.
Right. So what does he need to go make 10 million when he can go sign for the minimum, come back to Brooklyn and play with KD? Like, I totally get it, especially with the advertisement dollars and the entertainment world in general. Like, these guys aren't hurting for an extra 2 mil. They'd rather win because winning means more to them. So I think after reading Quick's piece, I know we hit on it before that piece came out, and we've been all kind of telling you, like, they're not going to do it. I think when it comes from him, because of how sourced he is, I think it's more of just like an actual final blow to the reality of, well, Danny was saying this and Sprague was saying this and Gunderson or Richmond or whoever was saying all of these things. And okay, but then Quick comes out and says, yeah, he's not going to do anything. I think it kind of smacks you in the face. And it's
this. You and I talked about this, like the reckoning that was coming. Like, we hear a lot of Portland media. We all operate in the same general bubbles. Let's put it that way.
A lot of chat.
So it doesn't matter if you're from rivaling networks or stations, or we all talk across the board because we all want to know what the hell's going on. So this wasn't like a shock for anybody. It was, they're going to trade CJ. And then it was, you sure about that? And all of a sudden you could tell right away it wasn't going to be great. And now, listen, if they use the TPMLE, if they use all their tools at their disposal, I'm going to be excited. Cool. You did the bare minimum. Thank you. You used the things that were available to you, but it's just,
I mean, Danny, this is kind of a snapshot of where we're at. Not only are they not going to shop CJ McCollum, it doesn't even look like they're calling around to see if teams are interested in CJ.
That's the thing. It's like, I haven't heard anything from rival teams about CJ.
Well, every report you hear is an indicator from Portland, which kind of alerts you that it's maybe not true. And then it's like, why? It almost as if Neil has told the league, I'm not moving him. Don't call me.
Yeah.
It's like he sent those texts to 29 general managers.
It's weird, man.
Don't inform, like, and I get like value and whatnot. Like, I've seen some ridiculous things on social media. His value, I just don't think his value is as great as Neil has been holding it for years and years and years. And because of that, he's not going to move him. But it's not only that like, Dame openly pitched Kelly Oubre. Now, Kelly Oubre got a lot more money than I thought he would, but, God bless him for getting the money. Still, when Dame Lillard's like, hey, Kelly, come play with us. I like what you're doing. I don't know how I'd feel about Kelly Oubre. He didn't have like the greatest of seasons with the Warriors, but I still would have been like, okay, Dame wanted him. He wouldn't even consider it.
Yeah.
Like, that gives you an idea of how people are viewing this. It's
looking at the situation in Portland right now. 100%.
Yeah. Tell me if I'm wrong. Does it not feel like today, as we do this pod, does it not feel like everybody in the league knows the inevitable is happening? Like, this is a done deal?
Yeah, I think that's how rival executives are operating right now. They're not going to do Portland any favors.
And oh, by the way, in case you needed reassurances, Damian Lillard, before he flew back home, got a taste of what it was like to win at the ultimate level with the ultimate competitors. And I bet he can't wait to get back to Portland to lose in round one again.
Yeah, and that's like the weird dystopian world that we're in right now, where it's like you're just trying to see past that. Like, we're like, just in the comments, everyone's like, the whole idea of like, what's wrong with CJ Ellaby? Like, we're trying to use the little bit of fun and minutia that we get out of summer league to be like, yes, here's a little bit of respite, right? Like, you can get some more enjoyment out of this, because like it's entirely bleak on the other side when you're looking at this. Like, this is likely, the last season you'll see Damian Lillard in Portland, and it's all this stuff on top of it. It's like, it's rough.
Hey, I'm just going to tell you this. It's like a 5 or 10%, right? I won't go higher than that. I won't be stunned if he's like, I'm not playing. Get me out of here.
This year?
At this point, what is he coming back to? He's quite literally openly said the roster's not good enough.
And those comments the other day, we'll hit on those in the podcast when we start recording here a little bit.
And the general manager was like, well, I'm not going to make it better.
Here's Sneller more.
Here's Snell, Zeller, McLemore.
Sneller more, baby. That's what we're going with.
Here's Sneller more. Have fun. Good luck.
It makes it more fun that way, right?
Oh, if the roster fails in round one, does he throw Chance under the bus, or does he finally take?
Chance.
He's gonna call him Chance. You know he's gonna call him
100%.
Chance.
100%.
Why add the EY when you could just end at the C?
Chance.
Chance. Come on. Why'd he call Jason Jace? His name's Jason. It's 5 letters, and you gotta short up to 4.
He's got a brand, man. He plays it up. Like
it's like that scene in Yes Man when he's like calling him Norm, and he's like, "Can I call you Kai?" And he's like, "Well, my name's Carl. It's already pretty short."
Pace Moxon, Dame would never sit out though. I'm
not talking about sit out. I'm talking about asking for a trade. Sorry,
yeah.
I said that.
Yeah, and here's the other part of this. Dame doesn't have to do a damn thing. He's got people who are hired specifically to raise that hell. The Goodwins will do it.
Oh, absolutely. That's a legendary agency. They know how to do it.
There's not a single human being familiar with those guys that for a split second believes that they wouldn't raise hell. Dame wouldn't have to. Everybody's like, Dame's going to have to request a trade. I'm like, I don't think he's going to have to. Like, it's hard for me to...
Look, I'm talking about 5%. I'm fully expecting him to play.
Here's the thing. I'm not sure I'm expecting him to play to start the season.
Oh, because of the ab. Yeah, the ab injury was like, there was a little Scottie Pippen vibe there, was there not? Of like, you know what?
No, you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Let's see what this is for 20 games, guys. I'm with you.
I'm not
I forgot about that injury already, but when you said it, I'm like, yeah, I remember thinking, oh, this is just like Scotty in The Last Dance.
Got to come home for a couple weeks, get back on the right time schedule, then maybe, I don't know, end of August, you maybe look at setting a date for like late September. Get the procedure done, to a little abductor surgery.
List is like 4 to 9 week recovery.
4 to 6, just 4 to 6, just 4 to 6. But it's the abs, so you can't do anything. So you gotta work your way into shape sometime around, I don't know, Christmas.
Bro, you are touching on a very depressing issue that's looming right there.
I'm just saying, like,
I know you're probably not wrong though. Why was that? That was just weirdly thrown out. Like, and I'm not saying he's not injured, he is, but. It was just the timing was impeccable. It was like right as they win, it was like Dame was playing with an injury all along. And then you're also like, and Dame's team kind of sucks, so they're going to swing this into Dame missing time.
Listen, man, you draw a few lines and those conspiracies start getting really clear.
I just find it odd. Like after the quick piece came out, there were people, well, now I have to begin to question Neil. And I'm like,
not the other 8 people he stabbed. The 9th one.
Not the 9-year sample size of what he's giving you that he will not do.
Like I got a couple people that screenshot, people saying stuff like that, and like they're really not going to trade CJ. The dream is dead. And I'm just like,
bro, it's been obvious the entire time. Was it a dream? Yes, it was a dream.
Listen, like, we'd love to see stuff happen, like, but beyond that, it just wasn't. All right, this is all depressing. So let's swing it back to a little bit more of Summer League, and beyond CJ Ellaby having. You like that transition?
Let's stop talking about depressing. Speaking of, let's talk Summer League basketball, where 99% of these guys will never be on the roster.
Listen, the CJ Ellaby project is still in first gear.
How are we not talking about Antonio Blankety? How are we not?
I was going to work my way there. Greg Brown Jr., really bouncy. Like, stupidly bouncy.
Hey, what'd you take from his game? He's bouncy. He's
like,
really bouncy.
He is. He's long and he is athletic.
He got athleticism, yeah.
Yeah, and he knows it. Like, there's guys I've seen in the league who have dumb athleticism and don't know it. So, but Antonio Blakeney scored 20 straight for the Blazers.
That was unbelievable, by the way.
9 of 10 2 of 3 from 3 and 7 of 7 from the line.
7 of 7 from the line. Yeah. We saw 9 of 10 coming from Blankeny. Like
Antonio Blakeney.
I saw the name and I was just like, yeah, okay. And then you referenced his pass, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. So that's great.
Don't Google it.
Let's have another press conference that we can bundle.
Bundle?
Bungle, sorry.
Say we're gonna bundle it. Get an insurance.
Just bundle all the bad pressers into one.
Did we get a discount rate then?
God, I know. Where's Flo?
Oh, Jesus. But yeah, I was the letdown of the summer league is that Nas isn't playing. But I don't think it's anything beyond they're just trying to make sure everything's tracked and ready for regular season. I don't think he's injured. I don't believe they're getting ready to shop him or trade him. I haven't heard anything along those lines.
Hey, who was Greg Brown? Was he the most exciting player for you going into summer league that you were going to try to kind of follow to see what he was or what he is, at least at this point?
No. You're
going
to hate me. It's Beasley.
I don't hate you for that because I think we both know there's a really good chance that that's the roster addition they're going to have.
And so I wanted to see, is he washed?
Yeah.
What does he have? He got turned inside out. He took a false step defensively, and Kai Jones blew by him and detonated at the rim.
I mean, that was Blake Griffin-esque. I don't blame you for that. I do think him or Fareed going to be the ones that get picked up, but he is so washed on defense.
I mean, he was washed on defense when he came in the league.
I know he wasn't.
So, I want to know, are we dealing with Melo 2.0? And I was like, at least Melo was engaged and everything.
I'll give you a hot take. I think it's worse.
Yeah, because Melo would get that rip move every now and then.
Yeah.
And he was big enough and strong enough to body dudes. Beasley's strong, but I don't think he's on Melo level strong.
Yeah.
So,
I know what you mean.
Melo knows how to use his body. That's how he's been so good his entire career. He knows how to control. This is going to sound awful because I don't want to throw him under the bus, but the difference between Zach Collins knowing how to control his body and the difference between Carmelo Anthony controlling his body, it's just two totally different levels.
Yeah, for sure.
Beasley is somewhere in the middle. He's dumb strong, but you watch him and his body control is not near what Melo's is, and so I look at it and I go, oh, rough.
How much would you wager that he was high when he played today?
What odds are you giving me here? Because
plus 250.
I mean, that's probably. It's Vegas, so it's just hard.
It's Vegas, and the league doesn't care anymore. They're basically
they said that in the bubble. We're not testing for it anymore.
Yeah.
Just don't get caught with it.
Yeah, don't be done with it.
Like Kenneth Fareed.
That's why Kevin Durant smokes in his car.
It's just stop being stupid about it. For the love of God, that's all I ask.
That was one of the weirder offseason stories I've heard so far. That Sullivan guy who wrote that Nets book, there's a blurb in there, and he says that Kevin Durant smokes an ungodly amount of weed. And Kevin Durant, I don't think it's only, but he basically said every time Kevin Durant wants to smoke and he's home, he has a security guy walk with him and he goes and smokes in his car, which is odd to me because you live in a high-rise apartment probably somewhere super nice. In Brooklyn,
yeah,
with the fanciest shades that you could possibly draw and nobody would ever see you. Why do you go to the garage in your car?
Because I don't know. That one definitely doesn't make any damn sense. I
think all that's weird.
All right. Well, this little summer league game 1 wrap up was supposed to be more of a let's take a look at what the hell's going on after game 1.
Let's take a look at it.
It wasn't great, and we kind of deviated because it's kind of depressing right now. So we're gonna wrap up the live show here real quick. I think we're gonna do. I don't know if Brandon will be around for all of them, but I will try to get some in following every game through this process, at least at night, throughout the week. And then we're going to go record the mailbag pod. So we have a pile of questions. So
if you empty this mailbag.
Yes, if you guys are listening right now on the live stream here on YouTube, DM me a question if you got it, or throw it up on Twitter right now because I'm going to grab the last bit of it and we're going to get going. We'll catch you guys here, and this will be out Monday morning. We'll